We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound, standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reniker, Justin Charles, Kenny Mack, and Josh Hall. We are dogs!
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. We did it. We made it all the way through the offseason. We have an actual football game to talk about. How much we want to talk about that game, I guess it depends on your level of fandom. It wasn't pretty for most of it. But I would say starters at least. We'll see.
Not bad. I was like, did he lag? Did he cut out?
No, well, all of a sudden I started hearing myself because the YouTube feed, so I had to try to find the mute speaker. But no, it was. We'll get into it, So we're going to give you all our thoughts on the game. Obviously, quarterback competition, depth or lack thereof. We've got a couple of voicemails to get to. So I think it's going to be a good episode, and I'm just extremely excited to be talking about an actual football game. We're not speculating on a football game. We're going to get to talk about actual plays that happened on the field against another team. So I'm excited to get into it with you guys. Obviously, Justin, Kenny, Josh, and then everybody here in the chat. Before we get into it, though, remember, if you also want to get voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure to tap the notification bell so you don't miss any content we're putting out. You can listen on Apple and Spotify. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Just search at The Dogs Podcast. And if you want more Dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Get access to the private Discord. Play fantasy football with us, which cutoffs are now done. So you would be jumping in there, making friends for a year, and you can play fantasy football with us next year. We appreciate everybody who did sign up. Did we end up with 10 leagues?
I'm working on League 13 and 14 right now.
Holy,
wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
I'm glad I don't have to do all those.
Yes. So
it's been tough.
And those are 10 to 12 man leagues, guys. So like that just everybody who signed up for the dog pack and you support the show and you get to play fantasy football with not just us, but like a whole bunch of people that are in the dog pack. It's a good time. This is going on our third or fourth year doing the fantasy football with everybody. So we've gone from 2 leagues the first year, I think, 1 or 2 leagues the first year to 13 and 14. So appreciate all the support. That's awesome. I can't believe we have that many leagues. That's jointhedogs.com if you want to become a dog pack member. So I think we should just dive right into it, get into the nitty gritty. Obviously the big thing coming into this game was going to be the quarterback competition. We might as well just start there. I know I have my thoughts on the way it went. I'm curious to see what you guys think. I guess let's just go with Josh. What'd you think?
I was not expecting Deshaun Watson to look as, I'll just say, polished as he looked. I thought, especially when the first team was out there. So the first team O-line, you had Casey, Boston, Jerry Jeudy. I thought he was, hitting his back foot pretty well, and he was pretty much on target with his throws. He completed the first, 5 or 6 passes. I think the first incompletion was Harold Finn and dropped a first down.
Mm-hmm. Which was a nice throw, by the way.
It was a nice throw. He should have caught it.
It was on him.
And I thought you saw, once the second team O-line came in, and we'll talk about, the offensive line, the depth and stuff here in a little bit, but that's when I started to see some of the uncomfortable pocket awareness issues that we've seen from Deshaun, where he almost looks like he panics a little bit. He's trying to escape, and then maybe he'll run into a sack. He got the strip sack. He didn't step up in the pocket. I'm just being a little bit nitpicky there, but there was some of that, and that was his first game in almost 2 years. So overall, I was impressed. I'm not going to lie. You guys know I have not been a huge Deshaun Watson fan this offseason, but that was better than I expected. I'll let you guys talk a little bit about Deshaun before I give my thoughts on Shedeur.
I thought he was okay looking as well too. I thought, midway through the second, like you said, as soon as the second stringer started coming in, that's when it started falling apart a little bit. That fell apart for the whole team. But I thought he was really uncomfortable because Concepcion and Boston came out of the game, and then he kind of didn't know where to go. And anything else you said, like, I'm not going to reiterate it. Like, that's pretty much what I thought as well. Didn't want to see the turnover. I didn't know if he called the wrong, not blitz on that. Sorry. I don't know if he called the wrong protection on that. But I don't know if it was the offensive lineman. That's a hard thing about the strip sack on that case, but you just don't want to see a turnover. And it wasn't an interception. It might have not been on him, but you just don't want to see that.
You want to see some awareness, but just to answer your question, Kenny, Austin Barber got beat, taken to the behind the woodshed bad. That was,
did he?
Yeah. Yes. So again, you want to have some awareness. You want to feel that pressure. Obviously securing the football is important, but we'll call that 75% on Barber, 25% on Deshaun probably.
I'm not going to lie,
what about
guys. I was shocked. I was very, very surprised. I mean, I've watched 4 seasons where I've seen this happen, where he goes out there and it's just alligator arm. We saw a ball in the dirt, or, some indecisions, running into sacks that don't need to be sacks. We saw, like you said, Josh, we saw a little bit of that later on. But for the most part, he looked pretty buttoned up. There was some little things at the beginning as far as penalties and stuff. And the one on Howard's not on him. Obviously he trips the edge coming up. But I was really, really surprised. As far as what the offense looked like, it still gives me vibes of the dink and dunk. You know what I mean? I still see the short game, which it makes me nervous about what it does for our run game. Because we'll get into it later, but there wasn't anything really down the field. You know what I mean? So everybody's up on the line. Everybody knows kind of what we were trying to do there, I guess, as the game played out. But as far as how he looked in delivery and stuff like that, I was very, very surprised. I told people leading up to the game, I'm like, it's going to shit the bed. It's going to be, I pretty much just had it made up in my head because I've seen it happen. And so for him, good for him, man. You know what I mean? It was a good performance. You're in a QB competition. I thought he stepped up pretty well for, considering what was going on. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but just his kind of whole body language this week has kind of just been different. If you've watched him at press conferences, he's usually real, just kind of toned down, just everything's real, just modest. And he was kind of upbeat, at least Wednesday and Thursday. And then even when you're watching him on the sidelines, he's laughing and stuff like that. That wasn't something I've really seen from him in the first, 4 years of this experiment. And obviously there wasn't a lot to be laughing and excited about in the first 4 years of this thing. But, as far as his performance today, it was fine.
Yeah, let me real quick on something you said there about the dink and dunk. I did see a stat. 4.4 was his air yards per completion today. So that's what we saw in 2024. That kind of stuff does concern me.
For sure, man, because it just absolutely kills anything that you're trying to. It's Blake. A lot of us have all said it. Extension of the run game, like screen pass. Well, if that's all you're doing, you're in trouble. They're going to blow you up all day.
Yeah, he basically took what the defense gave him, and that's kind of what you want to see in the preseason. But you gotta challenge the guys too, especially when you have guys like Boston and Concepcion, guys who lead, with the crazy catches down the field. And Sanders was typically Sanders. We didn't get much out of him. The completion percentage wasn't high, but guess what? He found Luke Floria for a 35-yard bomb, and that's what we expect out of him. So we need some kind of these guys to come down the middle where they're hitting the flats and they're hitting, intermediate and they're going deep. You can't just always settle either. And that's what we need to see out of Deshaun Watson. Do something more, man.
I'm with you guys. I think I put it in the Discord after he made a nice throw, and I said, guys, Deshaun's actually throwing the ball pretty well. And somebody said, well, let's relax. It's preseason. I was like, no, I don't mean I think he's playing well. I actually mean he's throwing the ball well. I haven't seen any balls go in the dirt 10 yards in front of the wide receiver. I haven't seen any balls just being thrown 35 feet over top of somebody's head. I haven't seen him throw the ball into anybody's helmet. I mean, he's actually the act of throwing the football looks better than it has in 3 years from the guy. So that was a positive. I thought he looked more athletic than he had in the past, which is something I was not expecting. I didn't expect him to look athletic when, coming off back-to-back Achilles tears. So that was encouraging. But the dink and dunk thing, obviously you want to see people push the ball down the field. Like, we don't want to just be like a 4-yard throw team. That's going to come, though, when we're opening up the offense more. I mean, preseason offenses and defenses are extremely vanilla. Once you got away from like the first couple of drives, he's throwing to backups. He's got backup people playing in front of him, blocking. Not a ton of time to let routes develop down the field. I think like that would come. I would like to think in a Monken offense. He's known as like an air raid kind of guy, he's not really a dink and dunk offensive minded coach. So that doesn't concern me as much in the first preseason game and a guy's first action in 2 years. But I was, unlike you, Justin, I was just like surprised and encouraged by the fact that he looked decent. I'm not even sitting out here and saying he looked great. He just looked more competent than we've seen him look. Now, it's also tough to fully evaluate that because, again, he's playing against vanilla defenses and he's playing against a defense full of second stringers because Chicago didn't really play anybody.
Yeah,
so
great point. Like,
as tough as it is to, and it goes vice versa, like as tough it is to evaluate his performance against second stringers, it's tough to evaluate, at least be like extremely critical and overly evaluate like Shador's performance with second and third or fourth stringers. You know what I mean? So it's really a lot of like, what can you really get out of it? I guess so. If you just look for the finer details, he got rid of the ball on time. It was on target. He didn't have an incompletion until it was a drop, which should have been a nice third down completion to move the chains, which then who knows what happens. That takes the ball out of his hands. I thought he did nice he did a good job on the quarterback sneak, picked up a couple yards and converted a fourth down and short. So I was encouraged. Do I think like Deshaun Watson's going to be a Pro Bowler this year? No, but this is the best he's looked in 3 years since we've ever had him. So that's encouraging to say the least.
I mean, when the slow, like the low yards per completion, that's also indicative of the time that they had with the offensive line. The offensive line isn't any good. And they were okay to start, but for the majority of this game, all the quarterbacks were running. They couldn't stand in the pocket for very much, that I didn't think, for what I saw. And that's where the real quarterback play comes in. We need an offensive line. We need these guys to be cohesive. We need them to gel, and they need to get in make the right calls at the line of scrimmage. As far as seeing and them making the right calls at line of scrimmage, I couldn't see that from where I was watching the game. But that's going to take time. You can't take 5 new starters and just expect them to work. And then when that does work, that's when the quarterback gets the right legs and the right angles down the field, and then the receivers get the right separation. So I think everybody's, yards per completion is going to be low until that actually, fixes itself, or Warhop basically makes it work.
Yeah, but my thing too, though, is then as soon as Shador came in, he immediately hit a 10-plus yard pass down the sideline to Gage Larvaday, and then hit a bomb to Luke Floria, and he was playing behind that terrible second string O-line with receivers who probably aren't going to be on the team in a couple weeks. So
he was also after he threw the ball into the defensive lineman's hands and fumbled a snap.
Yeah, nowhere in there did I say he was perfect. He made some mistakes today that if you
bad. Yeah,
I said this earlier. If you want to be the starting quarterback for a team and you're in a quarterback competition, you can't make those mistakes against third stringers. You just can't do it.
No, absolutely. But I mean, just across the board, the offensive line to me is the biggest problem. And then you resolve your quarterback issue, some of your quarterback issues.
Yeah, let's not go crazy here.
I guess if we can kind of then compare, I would definitely say if you're keeping score in terms of the quarterback competition, it's 1-0 Deshaun. I think he was clearly the better quarterback today. That doesn't mean he'll be the better quarterback going forward. We'll see how Shador looks. Hopefully, I'm sure the ones will play more this week to get a proper evaluation of him against the Bills. That's a good test. He'll get to play at home. Hopefully, it's good weather. But like if I was sitting here right now, I'd say like Deshaun's the starting quarterback probably, and it just seems like that's where we're headed.
I think that was kind of the predetermined case to begin with, and I think today just helped solidify that.
I've been on this train where I was like, you shouldn't play anybody else besides Shador this year because you got to find out what you have in him because none of the other quarterbacks will be here next year. And after like just thinking about it more and watching today some, I'm my philosophy a little bit now is you don't necessarily have to play Shador to see what you have in him because if he can't beat out a busted ass Deshaun Watson, who we all think is not that great anymore, then the Browns know what they have in him. So I just think based on what I've seen so far, we're drafting a quarterback next year. that was kind of my takeaway from today's game. Neither guy looked that great. One of them looked better than the other one. The other one looked, he just didn't look good. Shador, he didn't play well. I just think like the Browns are probably drafting a quarterback next year. That was my biggest takeaway from today's game.
Well, in the Discord, I basically posted that, we are the 32nd grouping of quarterbacks by ESPN standard, and we're all arguing over these 32nd rated quarterbacks, and they look like that. Every quarterback came in and didn't really push the ball except for Sanders, and they all had a turnover. Nobody distinguished themselves. And, if they continue that way, that's likely what it's going to be. We're just going to be on track for another quarterback next year with great talent that we have in a wasted year and good talent on offense.
Maybe he'll change my mind in the narrative this coming week against the Bills, but I'm just telling you based on offseason so far and one day of game action of what I've seen, that's where we stand today. I'm not saying that's where we're going to stand a week from now or 2 weeks from now. That's just my takeaway from the game today.
Yeah, and you can only base it on what you've seen today. Like that makes 100% sense. It may switch itself over, but go ahead, Justin.
No, I'm just going into this week coming up very cautiously optimistic. You know what I mean? It's going to be a joint practice with the Bills. It's a good team. I don't obviously know what they're going to do as far as playing their starters and stuff like that. Their starters played today, so for a little bit. But, we're going to see Sanders with ones this week. You're going to see Deshaun with the twos, and they're both going to get done.
No,
Sitting
that's
him?
not what's happening. No.
Really? Do you think they're shutting him down?
Monken said that both guys will get some reps with the ones, but Deshaun's going to be the primary first-team quarterback in that joint practice on Thursday.
Okay. And what about
Shador's
the game?
going to get some opportunities, but I think it's going to primarily be Deshaun. Then Shador will start and play the first half on Saturday, but it won't be with the starters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then you're going to get Taylon Green, brother. You're going to get Taylon Green. It's just going to add to the mix.
I don't think Deshaun Watson will play on Saturday, if you guys want my honest opinion.
That's a really tough blow for his chances. You know what I mean?
That is just my speculation. Now, as far as what Monken said about the week, the plan for the week, that is what's going to happen.
Okay.
But I would not be shocked if they go into Saturday and it's Shador for the first half and then you get Gabriel and Green.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's trending that way as well.
And so many people in here are so mad at me because of what I just said. Guys, if he can't beat out Deshaun Watson, a guy that nobody thinks is good, where do you think we stand? Like, all I heard was he needs a full offseason. It was Kevin Stefanski's fault. He hates him, never gave him a shot, had him thrown to trash cans. So we hired a coach who came in, and the first thing he said was, we tried to draft you last year. So everybody's like, here's the guy. He loves him. He's going to give him every shot. And then he's not going to be the starter. Like, guys, at some point, like, we just got to wake up and realize what's going on. Like, I don't, it's not that I want it, but.
Well, do you guys agree with me, though? No, I think no matter what, Deshaun, barring injury, Deshaun starts the season. Shador will finish this season. I see no world in which Deshaun either plays the whole season with his performance being good enough or without getting hurt.
Right.
And both these
I would
guys are
say-
going to play.
Yes. But if you're only coming in because Deshaun, like, if he comes in, you better be like Tom Brady or you're not going to be here next year.
Right. No, that's good. That's true. That's absolutely true.
So I people can get mad all they want, but I'm not the one. The coach is the one telling you. He came out right after this game and laid out the plan for the next. He's the one telling you this, not me. I'm just relaying the information.
The days are longer, the calendar's filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, so I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with code PODCAST at Gruns.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
It's crazy.
Do we want to get to some of these voicemails?
Sure. Give me 1 second on the screen here. Let's do this. First one is from everything's so small on my screen. Brad Moneymaker.
Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Oh, yeah. The Browns are back. Football's back, baby. Let's go. Man, was it a roller coaster of preseason game emotions. One thing I can say is, unfortunately, Deshaun didn't look as bad as we thought he would. Also, our depth at certain positions are real rough, and we might have to sign some more people, bro. It's a little rough. All the rookies looked good today. KC awesome, Denzel awesome. Some rookies making some defense plays too, looking good. Team looked pretty solid with the starters, and then after that, just fall off. And Shador had a rough throw. Dylan looks unplayable, and but it's preseason. And here we are, Browns are back, and on to the next preseason game, which I'll be at. Let's go, Browns.
Hey man, I'm pumped to see the next preseason game, but I mean this team's definitely got some work that it needs a fix, and like the depth is one of the biggest things. It was the biggest key that Josh and I were talking about before this game started on our preview, and I don't know what they're going to do. Like I was making a joke before we started this, like I can't see another short from Josh saying that we signed Jimmy whoever from T County State or whatever. Like I don't know who these guys are. We need to get somebody, like get a Kenny Moore in here, or get Zach Ertz, or whoever is a free agent that can come and play, because I don't want to see this unless if the plan is to get the number 1 pick, then stick with what you're doing.
Yeah, it's very concerning at a few, like you said, a few position groups. Cornerback's crazy. I mean, we're Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell away from being pretty miserable on the back end. It's very concerning. Offensive line, we had concerns about the first string, how the chemistry would be, how they would be able to, develop together. Behind them, it gives me vibes of the last few years where it's just rotating door of guys coming in and out, and can they stay healthy? It's all fair. I mean, you saw it in the game as the second, third, fourth string guys came in, which is normal for a preseason game. The talent level goes down, but some of the plays were just egregious, especially on defense. Man, as the game went on, it was just kind of painful to watch. I had like Tony Pollard PTSD going on on that play. I was just like, oh my God, it's like I'm back in the studio with Blake, and Blake's screaming at us about what we're doing, and I'm like, this is crazy. But I would expect Andrew Berry to be very busy tonight and through the weekend.
Hey, real quick, I want to keep talking about the depth and stuff. I just want to update on what I said earlier about this plan for the week. So Daniel Ofusi posted this. Watson Sanders will split first team reps in the joint practice. Sanders will start. Monken said Watson will play the third quarter, and Dylan Gabriel will play the fourth. So
okay, that's
kind of holding out for Taylor Green. It's not coming on Saturday, at least not as of right now.
Taylor Green's not making the team.
It's kind of starting to feel that way.
Yeah. No, if he's not playing next, if he's not playing next week, he can't even get
pass attempts in practice. He's not making. He's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not making the team. But obviously, I want to talk about the depth. I just have to address. Is somebody said we get it? You're a Sanders hater. I need you all to just. This isn't our first year doing this podcast. I need you to rewind to some episodes pre-draft last year, and I want you to watch them and see who was the biggest Sanders fan on this entire show and who was saying to draft him number 2 overall. I dare you to go back and watch those episodes. So just because I can then watch things with my eyes and tell you what I'm seeing doesn't mean I'm a Sanders hater. I've wanted us to draft him number 2, and I wanted him to be the starter all season last year. So just
guys, it's preseason game number 1. Like, Sanders is going to play next week. Like, we're probably going to see something good out of him. He's going to get to play with the ones. He just did not look good today. He was under duress for a lot of it. But to Josh's point, when the time came, then he had somebody open, he pushed it down the field, and that's what we want to see. Deshaun Watson did not do that. He took what the defense gave him. And one thing that I wanted to see, like, I host a Browns backers event every single game, so I can't see everything. One thing I wanted to know is, did Shedeur Sanders leave some opportunities open because he was trying to push it down too much? Because that is one of his biggest misgivings, and that's what I need to know. Did that happen, or was he just pushing it down the field too much?
Yeah, I will say, I'll say one thing, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about the rest of this team. But the one thing I did like that I saw from Shedeur today, the pocket presence, pocket awareness, pocket comfort. I thought he looked much better than he did last year. He didn't ever look rattled under the pressure. When he made that deep throw to Luke Floria, it looked like he intentionally took a deeper drop than what he probably was supposed to, because he knew they were bringing the heat. Like, he gave himself more time to get that play to open up. It was things like that I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the progression from what we saw. Obviously last year in the preseason was rough against the Rams when he was under duress. Today, much cooler and calmer in the pocket, I thought.
I mean, he made the right read on his interception. He said it slipped out of his hand.
Bad throw. Right read, bad throw. He said that in the press conference too.
Yeah, right read. It slipped out of his hand. So who knows?
Yeah. All right, quick break. This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. All right, Browns fans, you know, we've all messed around with the sports books before, right? And let's be honest, you're always kind of playing against the house. But with Kalshi, it's different. You're not betting against some sports book. You're trading against other real-world people. There's no house trying to beat you. Kalshi just runs the marketplace. So if you think the public is wrong and the Browns can make the playoffs in Todd Monken's first year, or Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, one of those guys can win Offensive Rookie of the Year, you can take the other side of the market, and then if you're right, that's a big payout for you. And it's not just sports either. You can trade on other real world stuff, interest rates, inflation, even wild weather outcomes. It works like this: simple yes or no markets, your risk is capped up front, and your payout is locked in. So if you trust your takes and instincts, and I know you guys do, go check out Kalshi and see what markets are live right now. So use our link in the description, or just head over to kalshi.com/dogs, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, to earn up to $500 when you trade 25. Kalshi, because why shouldn't you guys get paid for being right? This episode is sponsored by MyBookie. Football is back, everybody, and whether you've been betting for years or you're just looking to put a little action on the games now, MyBookie is where I'm playing this season. Now, I'll be sharing some of the spots I'm looking at along the way, but you don't need to be an expert or blindly tail anybody. Find a play you like and take a shot. That's what I like about MyBookie. You can find the action you want and bet it wherever you are when the game kicks off. And if you're new to the club, the Bet Back bonus gives you protection on your first play. Just sign up using our promo code DOGS, DAWGS, opt into the Bet Back bonus, and take your first shot with the safety net. If your first wager loses, you'll get it right back. No questions asked. Football is finally here. Get in now and cash in on the season with MyBookie. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. We appreciate everybody who hung out with us through the break. Kind of continuing our talk about depth and whatnot. We're like, first of all, maybe outside of the quarterback competition, my biggest takeaway from this game was Browns are probably not going to win very many games this year. That's kind of was my takeaway from this game. We have some good young talent. You know, like there's a smatter, like Boston, KC, looked
Oh
awesome.
my.
You know what I mean? Denzel.
He's electric.
We all know Fannon's good. If we could ever open up a whole Judkins, is a workhorse back. I like what Dylan Sampson can do. There's some on the defensive side, Carson, Mason Graham, all these guys. Like, we have some good young talent. The problem is that's basically where it stops. There's the cupboard is bare behind them, and it's just, you're an injury. I mean, we're 2 injuries away from being a practice squad team. And it's going to be, and we're going to get injured. First of all, it's football. It happens, and this is the Cleveland Browns. So we're gonna have injury issues this year, just like we have every year that I've been alive. So it's gonna be a tough season. I think the future is bright, and I think we could be maybe very good like 2 years from now. Next year, I think we just like keep getting better. And then, heading into the new stadium, like, I think we could be very, very good as these guys are growing up and developed. But I think getting there could be painful.
My biggest thing today, I just kept harping on this the entire game. Can't run the ball. Still can't run the freaking ball. No push up front. We're not creating any openings, no lanes. I mean, running backs are getting hit immediately, like at the line. I'm like, every time. Like, this freaking sucks. I'm sitting there yelling at my TV like, gosh, it's so frustrating because we've watched that the last 2 years where we can't run the ball.
Yeah.
And it's just continuing.
You know what? If we didn't have Devon Booker in this game, we would only had 54 yards rushing.
Well, we didn't have Devon Booker.
He had the other
Devon Booth.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Booth, not Booker. Sorry, my bad.
It doesn't matter, but yeah.
Yeah, he had 54 yards, and the rest of the team had 54 yards, and that was it. They cannot run the ball. And this is something that, with the quarterbacks that we have that kind of take what you give them, you need to run the ball because you can't have a Deshaun Watson doing 4.8 yards an attempt. It just doesn't work out, right? So something's got to happen there. Now, this is just a first preseason game, like I said. George Warhop's going to mold these guys up, and I think it's going to be a better situation down the road. But I'm like, ugh, how much better, man? So I don't know.
I mean, our leading rusher up until the fourth quarter there was Casey Concepcion.
Yeah,
one rush for 14 yards.
14
That's
yards.
it.
It's crazy.
Go ahead, Blake.
Woof.
Sorry.
I was going to say,
Woof.
you'd think the offensive line would be better than last year because, like, it'd be tough to be worse. But I do think it'll take time to gel. They got to figure out who the fifth starter is going to be. Then they got to get a bunch of reps together. Because I mean, the offensive line, you got to move as one. You got to, one guy takes one false step somewhere, plays blown up. So that takes time. Also, run game concepts and stuff preseason are more vanilla. You're not getting anything too crazy, not trying to give stuff away. So maybe that'll come, also as we get closer to the season. But it was hard to watch the lack of run game out there today. Like, we haven't had a good run game since Nick Chubb was healthy.
He made it look easy for everybody, but once he was gone, it all changed. Yeah, we were spoiled. But do you guys think it would have made a difference? Like, you saw who didn't start or who was not expected to play. If we had all those guys, would it have made a difference today? I think it kind of would have, right? We would have had a little bit more depth on the offensive line because there was a couple guys like Brailsford that we didn't have. There might have been another guard in there. I can't remember. But like through this game, I mean, they just whooped us on the run up the middle, and then they just hit our backup defensive backs for like 346 yards passing. They had 400 plus yards of offense. That was against guys that probably won't even be here next week. So if those guys can play next week, it'll make a slight bit of difference, right? Now, that being said, I am a little bit more pessimistic with Blake here, going like, we got some problems, man. But I do want to see some of these depth pieces come back against the Bills and make a better assessment of where we're going to be.
I texted you guys after the game, and all I said was the Bears' starting defense is very, very good. It's a solid unit, and I think if that unit started today, this reaction show would be
fair point.
A little different.
A lot more like last season and maybe 2022 and 21. And But that was like my thing. Like, I just kept thinking as I'm watching him get gashed up, I'm going, man, like if their ones are out there and this is, we're going down the line, they're just depth wise is just incredibly better. I joked with you guys, but I just said their car salesmen are way better than our car salesmen. Like this is crazy. And I'm not talking about selling cars. You know what I mean? Like they just outperformed.
Well, it's slightly concerning. Oh, I was gonna say that our starters, QB for a half, receivers and stuff for basically a quarter, and we tied with their second and third stringers going into the half.
Yeah,
and then they just bulldozed us in the second half. So that's discouraging.
Yes.
Can we be positive though? Or go ahead, Josh.
Well,
go ahead, say what you're going to say.
Let me stay negative, and then you can
okay.
Go
sure, bro.
for me. So cornerback, I've been great, but cornerback is terrible. That position is so thin, it's ridiculous. So we're banking on like UDFA rookie guys to come in here and play meaningful snaps for this defense this season. And then today, Michael Coates Jr., a guy that I've been excited about, the rookie out of West Virginia. He has a couple nice pass breakups, has the interception there before halftime, I think it was. And it's like, okay, this kid's looking good. He's out with an ankle injury. Great. Nate Evans, the other UDFA rookie we had, I think out of Delaware, maybe. Not that he was even playing all that great or anything. He's out with a quad injury. Those were guys we're relying on at the top of the depth chart right now behind Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell because everybody else is on the shelf. It's rough, but
just that's too bad. I missed that about Coates. Shoot.
Yeah. Have we heard the severity of Coates yet?
I haven't heard anything, so hopefully it's nothing major.
Okay. Well, let me take us in an upward trajectory for a second, because if we're going to talk about some good things too, can we talk about how the special teams performed today? Because man, that is something. Whether it was Marshall gunning, whether it was kicks by Schmidt. We have basically, we were up at camp and we were sitting with Jake Burns, and he's like, they might cut Corey Bojorquez. And I was like, get the hell out of here. No way. I was shocked. I almost passed out. I was so blown away. I was like, he's probably our best player, honestly, on the roster. Hold on. What are we talking about? But like you saw, special teams is very improved, looked consistent. If we're going to go on more trajectory, Casey Concepcion, the return game, that aspect that kid brings, I thought he tripped up over his guy's leg. When I watched it back, he literally got shoelace tackled, or he's probably taking that thing to the stinking house. Overall, though, that kid, what a stinking dog. Mentality, everything. The concerns with the hands, I'll live with that all day, because that dude is a absolute weapon on the field as far as what he can do and what he brings. And then just when you think about the other rookies, is as with Boston and even a not rookie like Isaiah Bond, throwing them guys all together. Judy looked solid enough today. That part of it, I'm like, man, that's so exciting as far as when you're talking about the young talent. I'm thrilled with our two young receivers, and then man, special teams. What a turnaround for real.
What's going on with the punter? What's going on with the punter anyways? Because there's 3 different guys that punted in this game.
Yeah, they're all.
So I missed kind of what you're saying. Are you saying
there's a competition?
There's a legit competition going on. Yeah.
Okay, because I was wondering, because in the initial press conference with Storer, he said, "Well, Bojorquez is our guy. We're like what he's done over his career. We're going to look at these other guys as well." And I thought that was kind of weird when you're just coming in saying you didn't just say he's the guy. He said you're looking at other guys. So this Nick Konstantinov or whatever his name was, he seemed like he was kicking well. So we might lose Bojorquez.
It's one of those deals where if a guy can punt, even if it's almost as well as Corey, they're going to go with the guy who's cheaper to save money.
Yeah.
And it's a lot cheaper. It's millions.
It's just one of those
compared
deals.
To.
And I think Corey's great, but there are times he can struggle with placement. So if you can get a guy who can boot it like he does and can consistently, pin him inside the 20. Sometimes Corey's leg is too big. And he kicks it into the end zone when we really need him to, drop it down at the 5 and kind of pin him deep. And that's nitpicking. like you said, Justin, he's been arguably our best player the last 2 years.
I almost bought his jersey last year because I thought he was the only safe guy on the roster. We're sitting here today talking about it as a punter competition. I'm like, nothing safe. Don't buy jerseys, guys. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Get you a Nick Chubb and just wear that for the rest of your life. You'll be fine.
It's like when we used to have Chris Gardocki and Phil Dawson. They were our 2 best players, our punter and our kicker. The kicker, I think, and I won't say it definitively yet, but if we can get into the season and he's still we might have one of the best kickers.
Possible.
He's
that
very
50-yarder looked
solid.
effortless. It looked effortless when he kicked that. Like that was a great kick.
Going back to week 1 last year, the dude's missed like 3.
Yeah.
In a season, in a year. So
And 2 were in one game.
Yeah.
So
Week
it's
one,
just
right?
been-
Against Cincy?
Yeah.
Yeah. His
like,
first game?
And people wanted to run him out of town.
I did. I was like, cut him.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad they didn't. So
Yeah, he's been like a breath of fresh air. I just hope like he can just keep consistently doing it as we head into the season, because that's been a position, I would say, like second to quarterback. That's been the toughest position to fill since Phil Dawson left. We have yet to be able to find a kicker. We've drafted multiple kickers trying to find a replacement for Phil Dawson, and we haven't been able to do it. Finally, we get this guy, and in his first game, blows 2 kicks, and we want to cut him. They stick with him, and he's turned out to be one of the most consistent, better kickers in the league last season. So good for the Browns to not give up on him too early, because that just knowing like you're going to consistently make even just extra points in field goal attempts inside 40 yards. You just like, you're not even, I'm going to go grab a beer. Schmidt's kicking a field goal. I know this is going to be 3 points. That is so nice to have. We haven't had that in 15 years.
no, we haven't.
And thank God we didn't cut him, because think of all the other kickers that we did get rid of, and then they go on to have success down the road. Literally the next team that they go to, I can think 5 or 6 right off the top of my head in like the last 10, 15 years that has happened. So since Dawson, it's been rough.
Let me tell you guys real quick. One of my favorite plays today was Julian Okwara just making the turnstile of Jedrick Wills for the sack. I thought that was awesome. Like, that dude that left here with some attitude, didn't work when he was here. No effort. Tried to kind of put the blame on the team. And then he signs on with Chicago. And then just to see him go out there in a preseason game and be the same old Jed Wills, that was fun. I enjoyed
Discord was amazing for that, because there was a lot of guys just with that's the most that he's done for the Browns, the most good that he's done for the Browns in his entire career. And I was like, good Lord, man. Rough.
This episode is sponsored by Dash Dog Food. Browns fans, Butcher Box for Pets has rebranded to Dash Dog Food. Same great products, same great company, just a new name, a new brand, but with that comes an even better deal for you guys. Now you can get 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Just go to dashdogfood.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS. As you guys know, we're the dogs, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. And they're not just pets, like I said. They're part of the family. So the question is, what are you actually feeding them? At Dash Dog Food, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula that includes pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and their digestion. And speaking of the benefits of Dash Dog Food, Dash delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So just choose the delivery schedule you need for your dog, and you can change, modify, or pause your plan at any time. So try it out today. Your dog will love you for upgrading their meal times. dashdogfood.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS to get 60, not 50, but now 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition fresh dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Minimum purchase of $34, 60% discount applies to subscription orders only, 1 use per customer, cancel at any time. Browns fans, if you're looking for a great fantasy football draft guide, we've got the answer for you. We just teamed up with Draft Day Dudes for their 2026 fantasy football draft guide. And the best part, it's just $7.99. It updates free every week until kickoff. So go to draftdaydudes.com, use code DAWGS, DAWGS, to get yourself 20% off the best fantasy football draft guide. And what I like best about this draft guide, they use tier-based ranking, not just a standard rank list, so you can see where are the talent cliffs at each position when you're actually on the clock. They've got tiered big boards for standard, PPR, Superflex, plus their positional ranking, sleepers, busts, and the rookie class. So don't wait. Fantasy drafts are coming fast. Go to draftdaydudes.com. Use code DAWGS, DAWGS, to get 20% off the Draft Day Dudes Fantasy Football Draft Guide, just $7.99, plus you get 20% off with code DAWGS at checkout.
Did we have another voicemail?
Yes, we do have another voicemail. This one is from Connor.
What's up, boys? Connor calling in here. I was just reaching out after the first preseason game, and I said it best to my friend. We are a team that is don't break the ice, and if you break the ice, then we are incredibly screwed. Our offense looked pretty good in the first half, and our defense looked pretty good on the first few drives, and after that, the wheels fell off. We have no depth anywhere, so we can't just sit here and pretend like we're good. Our quarterback DB depth is awful. Our defensive interior is god-awful after the first few guys. So that's all I was wanting to share with you guys. Anyway, go Dogs. Ooh.
Yes,
I like the wide receiver room. I think the wide receiver room we're trending very well there, but he makes very good points. It's so nerve-wracking thinking about, like Blake said, we're a couple injuries away from just being burnt toast,
being futile. I think KC, Boston, and Bond, that could be like a very legit, real NFL wide receiver core, especially when you couple that with Harold Fannin and then Quinshaw Judkins and Dylan Sampson in the backfield. Like, that's an offensive unit that if you can protect and you can get good quarterback play, like those guys can do damage. We haven't had offensive talent like that really since maybe Kevin's first year, when we had like a healthy Jarvis and a healthy Chubb and a good O-line. Like, we haven't had that in 5 years now, where we've the cupboard has been bare offensively. We've had no speed. We finally have speed on the offensive side of the ball. Guys that are dangerous with the ball in space. We haven't had anybody. The closest thing was Amari Cooper. And he wasn't even like a danger guy. He was just like a tactician, route runner, and then catch a ball and run for. But just a guy that you can just turn. If we can find a way to get the guy, put the ball in this guy's hand 10 times, he's going to do something special 5 times, 6 times. And that makes offense so much easier. Quarterback to have to go through 3 reads and hit his third option 30 yards downfield after scrim. You can just turn and throw it to the guy at the line of scrimmage, and he can just make a guy miss and be gone for 15, 20 yards. We've been missing that for half a decade, and it feels good. Like, I feel really good about. I think Isaiah Bond's very good. He's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit with KC and Boston coming in here. Like, I think he's very, very good and getting better.
Well, one thing about the receiver room, too, is that what I keep hearing about Monken and guys that have worked with Monken, as long as you have good receivers, he'll make it work. I've heard that like consistently through the week when I've been watching previews for this game, and I think it's going to happen. But I get back to the offensive line, and the depth concerns there. We lose one guy, and man, we're going to be toast. And I just need to see those guys develop a little bit more, get some of those guys that didn't play this week playing a little bit more, and I think they can give our quarterbacks just another second to get it down to these playmakers.
I thought Justin had something.
Text.
No, you're fine. All I was going to say is in training camp, me and Josh got to see basically a formation where they had Bond, KC, and Boston in a bunch formation, and everybody in the friggin' crowd was just like, "Oh my god, this could be.
That's the
this
one.
could be. This could be." I literally was just like, "This is the dream team right here. This could be insane." And even Jerry Jeudy can still be complimentary if he doesn't have to be alpha pretend number one. Like if you just can be a role player and just do your thing, Thank God, no drops.
If he can be just a guy.
Yes, just a guy.
Just a guy.
Don't do that,
Yes,
bro. Steve Smith is gonna sue you.
If he wants to run around as the third and fourth option, I got no problem with that. I don't want him masquerading as my number one wide receiver. That's for sure. He can be just fine, running around out there, get 3 or 4 catches a game as a third or fourth. That's fine. He's one of the best third or fourth options in the league. He's one of the worst number one options in the league.
That's fair. Yes. I will say I did see the Browns do something today in the first quarter that I don't think I've seen them do one time in the last 2 years. I'm exaggerating. I'm sure they did, but I can't remember it. It was 1st and 25 after that tripping or whatever from Titus Howard, who, by the way, might be the one person on this projected starting lineup that I'm a little concerned about as far as pass protection, but we'll see. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him. I'm just kind of going off what I've heard from camp too. But we were 1st and 25, and Deshaun Watson was able to complete 3 passes to these receivers to get us another first down. I was like, did we just pick that up? I thought for sure 1st and 25, might as well punt.
Yeah.
They picked it up.
Last year, we would have been punting on 4th and 37.
Yes, it would have kept going back. Yes.
Yes. We would have punted it to the first down marker last year.
Back to the original line.
Yes.
We're back, baby.
This is crazy to say that we finally have a good wide receiver depth. It does feel good. I mean, I think going into last year, I said we're one injury away from Jamari Thrash being our one. We're a long ways away from that.
I want you guys to realize, too, last year we were banking on Cedric Tillman being our number 2 receiver in the offense, and this year he's probably not making the roster.
Yeah,
he didn't even
probably
play.
is being nice.
Man, like if you're running with the thirds and you can't even suit up, I don't know what's wrong with him. Number one, we were speculating today, but in our group text, like maybe he's getting traded. Like, why wouldn't you play today? You need to make this team, but he didn't show up. And, the best ability is availability, right? So he's never available.
The
His
difference a
days
year
remembered
makes.
as soon as they took Denzel Boston.
Yeah.
Denzel Boston.
That's what I mean.
A better version who's healthy.
We went from number 2 Cedric Tillman / Deontay Johnson to KC Concepcion and
Deontay Johnson.
And Denzel. We were talking about it last year, bro. Like, and I was kind of trying to sell myself on the optimism that we could still be a viable, decent team. I'm like, maybe this guy can get his head back on. At one point, he was okay. He's a good, a decent player at one point in his career, but just, yeah, it is that right now is such a refreshing take that, we can proudly say, hey, this wide receiver room is going to be very legit for the next, you can call it what you want, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, they're young and they're only going to get better.
Anything? What else? Anything
I just saw somebody in here ask, where's Quinshawn? Ask about if he was still injured. He is not still injured. He is 100% cleared, healthy, ready to go. He's looked phenomenal in camp.
Yeah.
He ran the ball. How many times did he run the ball today? It was a few. Let's pull it up here.
Tell you in 2 seconds.
4 carries for 9 yards because our offensive line couldn't do squat in the run game. So we're hoping that improves. But, yeah, I mean, if they can just give this guy a crease, he's a freaking damn good running back.
Yep.
It says it's a new offense, fellas. You don't have to play like Tom Brady. That's stupid. It's Cleveland. Guys, I was being facetious. I was saying that if he doesn't win the quarterback competition, then if inevitably does get to play this year because Deshaun is either hurt or doesn't play well enough to keep the job for a full season, he's going to have to be like when Brady came in and didn't give the job back to Bledsoe, because if he comes in and he plays 10 games and it's mediocre at best, they're drafting a quarterback next year. That's just all there is to it. He's got to come in and be very, very good and play at a high level for them to not take because he's already going to be starting behind the 8 ball. He lost the open competition. to the guy that nobody wants to see play. And some people are like, he's supposed to beat out the 10-year vet. Don't play the 10-year vet thing with me. Everybody thinks Deshaun Watson is not good at football. On this show and around the league and around fans, nobody thinks he's good. This is the one team like Shedeur in an open competition has like a very real shot to go win a competition and be the starter at the beginning of the year. He's got a coach who likes him. He had an entire offseason to prepare. Like, this is his best opportunity. Let's be honest, if he's not on our team, is he going to get an opportunity this good to be a starter next year anywhere? Probably not. Like, this is his shot.
Did you and Justin, since you guys are like in that market for the broadcast, did you guys get the Cleveland broadcast today?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, Kenny, were you watching the NFL Network Chicago broadcast?
Yeah, I got the Chicago feed.
So something Blake said too. The people on the Chicago broadcast couldn't wrap their head around Deshaun Watson starting for the Browns. The whole time, pregame, first quarter, they were saying the whole time, like, why aren't they just rolling with Shedeur? Like, Deshaun's not part of their future. Why don't they see what, So they were saying the same stuff that we've been saying. So I'm with you. Like, if and when he gets his chance to play this year, because we start at least 2, if not 5 quarterbacks every year, he has to play no doubt football. Like you said, it can't be mediocre. Yes. It can't be like, well, some games were good, some games. It has to be no doubt. It doesn't have to be like MVP or Pro Bowl level, but it has to be no doubt. Like, we leave the season saying, oh yeah, we don't need to draft somebody. That's the guy. And if you don't leave the season like that, then it's over.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying
right. You're
he obviously
right.
doesn't have to be Tom Brady. Being hyperbolic, facetious,
But it was a Tom Brady situation, like you said. He didn't give up the job because he played no doubt football.
Yes, that's what he's going to have to do. And then I guess we got a couple minutes. I saw comments in here saying Jimmy Haslam's dictating it. He wants Deshaun to start. To me, that argument makes no sense. That money's gone. Jimmy Haslam said it was a big swing and miss. It doesn't matter what they do. That money is already paid. It's gone. He's not getting it back. The best thing for Jimmy Haslam would be if Shedeur is the starting quarterback. He's a star. He sells jerseys. He sells tickets. He gets you national media games. He gets you talked about on SportsCenter and Get Up. He raises the value of your franchise. He would want Shedeur to be the starter. Deshaun Watson, what Deshaun Watson starting gets Jimmy Haslam? Nothing. It gets your quarterback booed in your home field.
Canceled season tickets.
Canceled season tickets.
People pissed.
Yes. So don't tell me Jimmy Haslam that money's gone. If Jimmy Haslam cared about money, he wouldn't have given him. The guy burns money. Look how much he's paying, like 25 head coaches. Like, he doesn't care about the money. He's got more than he knows what to do with. That money's gone. It's dead. It's already read in the books. The best way to make that money back is for Shedeur to sell jerseys, sell tickets, get national games, national TV games. Like, he would want Shedeur to start. I don't believe in this Jimmy Haslam wants Deshaun thing to start. That makes no sense to me.
That's a very logical way you laid that out.
No, I get on the downer side of it. I'm like, I can see why people say that. I get like, he's a $250 million investment. They want to squeeze the last out of him. I totally get why you think that. I mean, I do. But at the end of the day, like, Blake's making sense. Who doesn't want to have a Russell Wilson situation where you could draft a guy 3rd, 4th round and have that salary for 2, 3, maybe 4 years, whatever, you compromised on your signing when you signed. So, I mean, like, who doesn't want that? But I get it. You get like down about it and you want to blame everybody, the owner, everything. Just, they're in a situation right now where Shedeur hasn't passed him yet. He doesn't either get the guys to the line of scrimmage fast enough or whatever they're seeing in their practices. Right now, Deshaun and him they're probably close though. It's just Shedeur hasn't hurdled him yet for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's Kenny, when you said who doesn't want a Russell Wilson situation, I immediately thought, well, who doesn't want to make a stupid, overblown trade for a washed up quarterback and then have to eat the contract and pay him to play for somebody?
Just wait, that was
different situation, brother.
Yeah.
Different
The
situation.
beginning and the end of his career were a little bit different.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We already did that, but I meant the rookie
No, I'm
part
with
of it.
you.
Yeah,
The good part.
I'm with you. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, you know, I'm seeing some of the comments flow through here in the chat. By the way, thank you everybody who's been here all night. Like, you guys are awesome. But, you know, just because Shedeur doesn't win the quarterback competition doesn't mean, again, he's not going to get a shot. He'll probably get a shot at some point. And maybe Todd Monken, like you were kind of saying, if there are some things that Deshaun's still a little bit more ahead, then okay, then we'll give Shedeur more time to, you know, to develop and to get ready for those things whenever his turn is called. But I think we'll see a better performance next week against the Bills on Saturday. He gets to start. I think it's always more difficult for the quarterback to come in second in a game.
For sure.
Because, you know, you've got a different rotation. You don't know who you're playing with necessarily. You're cold from your warm up that was, you know, 2 hours ago or whatever. So it's different from getting to step on the field right away in the first quarter versus third quarter.
It's fair.
No, I agree. And somebody says, so one more comment here says, so Shedeur comes out next week and cooks, keep the same energy. We're reacting to the one game we saw. We're reacting
Dude,
to...
I literally just said it's one game. I just literally said it was one game about 30 minutes ago, and we're going to see what he does next week with the ones. Did you come in just now?
But my biggest gripe is the people who will say that, and you can't gas up Deshaun because he was playing with ones against twos. If the roles would have been reversed, and Deshaun would have looked the way Shedeur did in the third, and Shedeur would have looked the way Deshaun did in the first, the comment section would be nothing about except for he's God's gift of football. And Deshaun is the worst football player of all time. If you just would have put up blind stats and said these ones were Deshaun's and these ones were Shedeur's, people would be saying he's the franchise for the next 10 years. You can't use some stuff to bash one player and then make excuses for another player. In this, it has to be even everywhere. If we're gonna say Casey Concepcion looked awesome in this game, well, he was also a one playing against twos and threes. So then we can say Deshaun looked pretty decent playing in this game. You can't pick and choose. Okay, if you have, it's got to be even.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And, you know, like we gave Jerry Jeudy some flowers. We're not big Jerry Jeudy fans, but he made some catches today. He ran the right route. You know, he did a good job. He was open and he came down with the ball. If we're going to say the players suck when they suck, we got to say they did good when they do good. So.
Hey, man, across the board, this team just needs to do better next week against the Bills. We just need to see better offensive football. You cannot have 3 turnovers, 5 penalties. I mean, you know, we count turnovers too when you turn over on downs. Like they went for it on 4th down, 3 times, made it once. 2 times they were in the red zone when that happened. Those are turnovers, man. So it's literally like 5 turnovers. Could have had 2 more touchdowns or at least 6 points on the board with 2 field goals. We got nothing. Nothing. That has to change. About changing the depth, I mean, you can't just change that in a week. That's not going to happen. You could get, you know, sign guys this week. They're in on Thursday. They're not going to play Saturday. That doesn't matter. Whatever we have this week is going to play next week. You know, maybe we'll see that tight end and we won't be seeing Taylor Green, to my disappointment. I thought he was going to rip it off, touchdown and throw for 1 and then be, you know, 2 for 10 or something. And then we'd have another conversation to talk about, another quarterback conversation to talk about. But I'm joking with that, of course. But the biggest thing is we got to move forward with what we got. And we need to see way better offensive linemen play. We need to see some defensive tackles show up and some corners show up.
Yeah, people will say, well, we need to go sign some depth. Guys, who do you think's available? You know, at this point,
we've already called a lot of them.
Exactly.
And had them come to Cleveland.
We'll probably be
and then waive them for injury designation.
We're going to be in roster cut down days.
Yes.
Like
we'll be signing people for sure.
Yeah.
Off of that.
So when you hear our initial 53, I feel like some of those guys will be safe for about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Because don't go sell. If you were the 50th through the 53rd guy who made the roster, I wouldn't be calling anybody saying you made the team, because if there's any DBs or interior D linemen worth anything that get cut off somebody else's roster cut down day, we're signing them in a heartbeat, because it's thin there for sure. But all right, let's wrap this up. We're at the hour mark. We appreciate everybody who's been here watching. this entire episode. Thank you for sticking out a long off season with us. We had actual football to talk about, and we couldn't be more excited about it. I know I made a lot of people mad today, and I guess sorry, I'm not sorry. But we appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys later this week or next week.
Go Browns.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Follow us on social media at the Dogs Podcast. And join our dog pack community at jointhedogs.com. We are dogs!
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.